There are millions of people online who want to become fitness influencers, and I had no idea how difficult it was for Joe Fazer to get to the top of the fitness world until... Can you tell me the toughest part of your fitness journey?
Where do I start?
So here is Joe Fazer's story and the lessons he's learned so you don't make the same mistakes that he did. And it all starts from his childhood, when he was just 14 years old and attended an all-boys school in Nottingham. At this time, he was around 6'3", weighing 55 kilograms and looked like this, clearly way underweight for his height. This is around the age when you first look around and notice that people are starting to get bigger, and naturally, for someone like Joe, it's hard not to compare yourself to others, especially in an all-boys school.
You're naturally going to be comparing yourself to loads of guys, and you're going to be comparing yourself to all of these rugby lads, these guys who have got pretty sick genetics.
However, nobody really cared about his physique, other than himself. This would soon change though, and it would all happen after an episode of Love Island. While watching the cast of young, fit couples, this is what opened Joe's eyes to what was possible to achieve. He decided to make a change, still being just 14 years old. He started lifting some home weights and even going to his school gym. Even though he didn't really know what he was doing, it didn't matter to him, as he was discovering a new, burning passion. However, although he was making a positive change to himself, he started to notice a more negative change happening around him.
Well, it's when I started working out and people in my school found that out, that's when people started taking the piss.
It seems backwards that after he made a positive change, the mocking started. But this may have just been a sign of the times, as going to the gym wasn't as popular as it is nowadays. Given the rise of TikTok and the influencers on there, it's put bodybuilding and health and fitness into more of the public eye and become more of a trend. But back in 2017, this was a different story.
I was 15, going to the gym at 15 and lifting weights was not normal back then. 7 years ago, people might not believe this, but this was before TikTok, before fitness became a trend. There was only 2 other people in my year who worked out, and they were rugby lads.
Despite the grief he experienced, he persevered, joining a new gym by lying about his age to meet the minimum requirement of 16, even though he was only 15 at the time. And though he had limited knowledge at the start, he learned along the way and achieved impressive results, looking like this during that time. Something else out of the ordinary he did was filming his workouts. At 15, going to the gym is hard enough, but recording yourself while doing them was even harder. And in 2017, there was only one major platform to share these videos on, which Joe enjoyed as much as training.
My entire life, since 2011, 2012, I'd always make YouTube videos. And if I ever got into a phase, so before fitness, I did skateboarding, I did parkour, I did magic. Every time I just make a YouTube out of it, because I enjoyed making videos and I enjoyed that phase that I was doing. So after a year of working out, just like every other phase I got into, I made a channel.
And to say this went viral would be an understatement. The video currently sits on over 30 million views, but actually achieved half of those views in a single year. The response on his YouTube video was insane, with the comment section to this day filled with nothing but positivity and thanking Joe for giving them the inspiration they've been looking for.
15 million on YouTube back then was just unheard of, and to throw on top of that the first video ever on the channel, it was so random why this video blew up. It didn't make any sense.
His transformation video showed us more than anything that people will root for the underdogs and allow themselves to be inspired by them. And his transformation video not only motivated his fans, but actually gave Joe the extra push he needed to go all in on this YouTube channel. You can see throughout the original transformation video that his confidence was growing during his journey, and you can feel this energy throughout his early videos. But the video going viral so quickly actually caused some unforeseen issues for him, and actually a really major one.
So I didn't tell anyone that I made this video. Didn't tell a soul, not even my best friends. But then naturally, as the video was going viral, someone's gonna see it.
And this is exactly what happened. The UK has a population of around 66 million, so for the video to get 30 million views means around half the country could have seen it. And of these 30 million were people in Joe's school.
And I remember waking up one morning and I got a message from, not a friend, but someone who I knew in my year on Snapchat, And I just knew, I saw the notification and I knew he'd messaged me because he'd seen the video. I was just waiting for the day for someone to see it.
Unfortunately for Joe though, his friends seeing the video would be the least of his worries after someone in the gym he was training at watched it. The video disclosed his age as 15, however, he had told the gym owners he was 16, and the next time he walked into the gym, he was immediately kicked out. This incident triggered the first major bout of lost motivation for Joe. Even though he bought some home gym equipment and trained a bit in his garage, it wasn't the same, and he started to lose the gains he'd worked so hard to achieve.
You know, not being in that gym environment, the home gym wasn't the best. And then I also kind of just looked at myself and I was like, I've been doing this a year and a half and I'm still skinnier than most guys in my year.
Even though he was still sometimes uploading on his YouTube channel, he wasn't training like he used to. He was barely eating and gaming more, falling back into the hole he knew all too well. And this carried on for about 4 months, with him losing all of the gains he made and starting to look like he did at the beginning of his fitness journey. This motivation came back when, in his own words, he decided to stop feeling sorry for himself and get back on the grind. This is probably the first lesson to take from Joe's story, and it's that despite what people may think about what you do, such as Joe's school friends, don't let it affect you. Because if Joe would let his worries about what his friends may have thought about working out and posting on YouTube, his story probably would have ended here. So after regaining his lost motivation, he started training back in his home gym, and eventually, when he turned 16, joined a brand new gym. This allowed him to start training with his friends after school too, and put him back in the gym environment which he'd missed so much. Unfortunately though, again, this would only last so long. The issue Joe was starting to realize was that due to him training with other people, he was starting to compare himself to them. His friends he was training with were getting bigger and stronger than him, even though he felt like he was trying harder and researching more.
So I started comparing myself to these rugby lads who were also hitting the gym, and I was just not even close to their level.
So he lost motivation yet again, and this was a big one, going 10 plus hours of not eating and being addicted to Fortnite for the better part of a year. The feelings of his inadequate genetics and falling behind got the better of him, which led to the return of Skinny Joe. This would all come to a head during a family holiday to Italy, after he looked back on the photos he took.
And my mum put the photos in the group chat when we got back from the holiday of like us by the pool, us at the beach, and like I looked so skinny. Like I just hated what I saw. And then that kind of, as cliche as it sounds, it kind of sparked something in me, which was like, right, I want to just go ham on the gym again.
He saw he was going back to being a skinny kid, so decided to do something about it, going back into the gym and being more motivated than he had ever been. This incident also gives us the second lesson that Joe needed to learn the hard way.
Yeah, looking back, I would just say to people, do not compare yourself to other people. Everyone is built different. It's not a fair playing field, and comparing yourself to someone else is just going to lead to downfall.
He marked his newfound motivation with something which would completely turn his channel and his life around.
Okay, so good morning guys. This is the first episode of the new series, Skinny Kid Bulking Up, and I'm so excited for it.
He totally and utterly committed himself to this Skinny Kid Bulking Up series, which he posted weekly for over 25 episodes, and the series gained millions of views across all of the episodes. Bear in mind, Joe was just 17 years old at this time and was gaining more than he ever had before. However, this was near the end of 2019, coming into March of 2020, and something big would be coming to try and halt his progress.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
For a lot of the nation, being in lockdown meant paid time off work, endless hours of gaming and watching YouTube all day. Even though gyms had to be closed down for the foreseeable future, this was a golden opportunity for Joe.
I had my A-levels coming up, which is a really important exam. They're all cancelled and stuff, so there's no point in being at school. So basically I got like the next 6 months off don't know what to do.
The announcement of lockdown allowed him to fully immerse himself into his YouTube channel and train in his home gym, which meant recording, editing, and posting more than he ever had. And because people had nothing to do all day, they tuned in to see his progress. Soon after the announcement of lockdown, Joe was also going to make an announcement of his own.
So, it is now official. I am now sponsored by My Protein.
The 20th episode of his series was a special one for Joe, as he announced that at just 17 years old, he was joining My Protein as one of their sponsored athletes. It was quite rare during this time for My Protein to sponsor young and upcoming influencers, as maybe they thought it would be quite a risk, as was seen with Jack's Fitness and him fumbling his sponsorship within months of receiving it. Joe signing for My Protein sort of went against the trend at the time, which was signing already successful athletes such as Eddie Hall, but My Protein saw the vision with Joe's journey.
I was not big, I was not shredded, but I wanted to show my journey to do that. And there was not many people who were small in the fitness world showing their journey. The guys with loads of followers were already massive.
Unlike Jack's Fitness,
So you guys here for uni then?
Joe did not fumble this sponsorship opportunity and grinded his YouTube channel throughout lockdown, which caused it to absolutely explode in popularity. His videos were getting more creative and bringing in even more views with it, collabing with some of the biggest names in fitness, including Matt Does Fitness and Brownie. His channel was more popular than ever, and it was looking increasingly likely he could turn this into a real career, which gave him a difficult decision. Once lockdown had been lifted, he could either go to university and continue doing YouTube on the side, or he could not go to university and fully commit to the influencing lifestyle. Luckily, Joe had his parents to rely on for advice.
But my dad saw my channel and he said, you know what? Take a gap year and try and grind the YouTube for a year and see how it goes. So that's what I did. I took a gap year and I grinded YouTube and it just did insane. So then I did another gap year and it did even better. And then after that I said, right, I'm continuing YouTube.
And it's safe to say this is probably the best decision he could have ever made, which gives us the third lesson that Joe learned. And it's something that everyone can apply to themselves right now.
Yeah, I would always say, I always speak realistically, I would say follow your dream and always pursue something that you're passionate about, but be realistic at the same time. Don't throw everything away. You always want something to fall back on.
So Joe was now a full-time YouTuber and My Protein athlete. He even revealed how much he was earning from his YouTube channel in 2021, which put him on a median salary in the UK. Some of his most popular videos were during this time, such as growing his arms by 5 inches and pulling off his muscle suit prank, which together have gained nearly 10 million views alone. However, being a My Protein athlete at a young age led Joe to experience something which most people do, but being in the public eye amplified this tenfold, and that was body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia is a mental condition where you spend a lot of time worrying about how you look. It's something that you probably watching this video have suffered too, but for Joe, whose entire career was now based on how he looked, and was now surrounded by these other massive My Protein influencers, it began the start of his major body image issues.
The body dysmorphia definitely grew from that because naturally I'm going to be comparing myself to people I'm working with.
To make matters worse, another problem which was about to completely wreck his self-esteem was about to break out, and that was his acne. If you've ever suffered through acne, you'll know just how self-conscious it can make you feel, and not just that, but the actual pain it can cause you. In 2022, his channel had already grown to around 1 million subscribers, and he noticed his acne was starting to get progressively worse. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people's, however, due to the obsession he had with how he looked and always seeing himself on camera, he looked for a quick fix. He started taking the drug known as Accutane, which to those unaware makes your skin worse before it gets better, and it left Joe looking like this. He was completely riddled with acne and his mental health was in the gutter.
The difference between me and someone who doesn't do YouTube is they don't have to post their face, which is full of acne, to 1 million people every week, which I love. I love the fact that I can post, but I just hated it. There was so many videos I made and filmed, and I just did not upload because my acne looked so bad.
Although usually Joe's comment section was somewhere he could go for inspiration and a place for positivity, he noticed even his own fans were making comments about his acne. This led him down one of the periods of his life, which by all accounts seems like undiagnosed depression. In a bold move, which isn't something a lot of influencers do, he opened up about his mental state to his over 1 million follower fan base, and it's really heartbreaking to hear how bad his depression actually got.
I get spots, which every time I look in the mirror I'm disgusted by. If I see my physique in bad lighting, I'm disgusted by it. I've got great mates, I've got a great family. I shouldn't be complaining. I shouldn't be sad right now.
He speaks about how he hated his physique and hated his spots, but the biggest issue with the video is how he said he shouldn't have been feeling this way. No matter someone's position in society, their wealth, their social status, or whatever, everyone can suffer with their mental health, and it's important to speak up, and it's exactly what Joe did.
I spoke to my mum first, and I spoke to my friends, and then eventually I spoke about it online, and it was the best thing that I could have ever done. The amount of support I got, the amount of advice I got, which helped. Several months after I spoke up about it, it started getting better, and that wasn't a coincidence.
Since this video was uploaded, a couple of years has passed, and although there were still bumps in the road along the way to now, he's in the best shape he's ever been, and his channel is more popular than ever. Currently, he sits on just over 1.6 million subscribers, with him just sharing the purchase of a brand new Porsche and meeting his girlfriend. All throughout this, he's stayed with MyProtein, and he really seems to be living the 21st century dream, and it all started with a 1-year fitness transformation. On top of the lessons he learned along the way, he had 2 more pieces of advice to share, which he only learned by looking back at what he'd achieved. And I recommend anyone who's aspiring to become a content creator to listen and apply this knowledge.
But the biggest advice I would give to anyone who wants to get into becoming a fitness influencer: make good quality content. Learn how to edit well. Think of good video ideas. Look, there's millions of people who want to become fitness influencers now. It is one of the most saturated markets. What makes you stand out from the rest? What you shouldn't do to try and make it in the fitness industry is blast loads of gear and try and become the biggest guy ever, because no one really cares about it unless you have the genetics of Chris Bumstead or the top 0.001% genetics. It doesn't matter how much gear you blast. It doesn't matter what your decent physique is. That won't get you anywhere.
And that is every single lesson Joe Fazer learned and wanted to pass down to you, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that he did. And if you've watched this far, make sure you listen to Joe's final piece of advice, which is arguably his most important.
Subscribe to Big Craig.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you click the video that's on your screen now to see more about online fitness documentaries.
Subscribe to Big Craig.